Welcome to Empowered by AI, the podcast for women entrepreneurs ready to harness AI to take their businesses to the next level. I'm your host, Michelle Muncie Silva, founder of Innovative AI Studios. You may have left corporate life to start this entrepreneurial journey, but you don't have to go it alone. Here, you'll find a supportive community of like-minded women and an invaluable thought partner each week, as my guests and I share actionable insights you can use right away. So let's dive in together. All right. Carolina, you good to go?
I'm good to go, Michelle.
All right. I want to take a minute and let you introduce yourself to the listeners because they need to know about your magic.
Thank you for having me. And yeah, a little bit about my magic. After decades of being in corporate, right? Shape-shifting to fit titles, cultures, expectations of all sorts of flavors, right? The job, the marriage, the house, the car, all of that. I learned a really hard lesson. And that lesson was that I had muted the truest parts of myself. And I'd forgotten who I was outside of it all, right? Like you take the title away. And who am I? Like, what do I believe? And you sit there and you're sitting at the top of your career and the top of your most successful life. And you're like, is this it? Is this it? And it's this disillusionment that how could I have achieved so much and feel so hollow inside? And how could I even not know who I am?
Yeah. Yeah. What was that moment for you? Was it, were you standing in the corporate bathroom looking in the mirrors and going, what the hell happened? What was the moment?
So the moment was, be careful what you wish for. You may just get it. And when you do, you've got that moment of reckoning. So my wish in my career was to always get into the C-suite. And I landed that offer. And when I landed that offer and I was home and I got off the phone with a recruiter, I like beelined for the kitchen, poured myself a glass of wine, I snuggled on the couch. And then it hit me. That glass of wine was not celebration. That glass of wine was actually to numb myself because I realized it was a moment like you call your bestie, you call your mom, you call your dad. It's, oh my God, I have arrived. And I felt nothing. Wasn't happy. I wasn't joyful. It didn't make me really feel great. And I felt okay. And as I was sitting there, I started to look at all of the art on my walls because every time I traveled, I would always bring back a piece of art because in the very beginning, I actually was an artist. And I realized how alive I felt in those moments and that this wasn't it. This wasn't it. And so I made the crazy decision to say,
Say thank you, but no.
thank you, but thank you. Yeah, I had a lot of people who were very disappointed in me. What are you going to do? I don't know. I don't know. Like it was the moment of, I don't know. And you know what? I'll figure it out. And then as I thought about figuring it out, it was, I really don't know. But then you realize you really don't know who you are because I didn't have the title, right? Nobody was looking for me. It was like all of a sudden, life became very different. And it's unsettling, like change is unsettling. But then when it's like you're used to people clamoring down your door because they need you, nobody needed me. And it was a really scary place to be. Because then, what did I really want to do? Now, I wasn't going to give up success. I wasn't going to give up abundance. It wasn't about walking away from all of that. It was like, how do I do this? And I actually love what I do. And that became the work. That became the work for me.
And you've written before about that. You call it a quiet, corrosive price of the shrinking, the diluting of ourselves. So For a woman that's in that mid pivot, like you're talking about right now,
Yeah.
what are the signs that she's like paying that price? What's a step that she can take today to stop doing that?
I would say telltale signs, you're always exhausted. Telltale signs, you're probably drinking too much. Telltale signs, you're running. Oh, I love being busy. Oh, on the weekends, I do 10,000 things. I never stop. I never take a pause. Those are all of the signs of, because you have to be able to sit with yourself. And I think the hardest thing is for us to admit it's not working. Because when we say that, we feel we failed. And that's not true. But it becomes like a frog in a pot. It's like the slow boil. You don't realize it's happening. And so part of it is you don't realize what's not giving you life and what is giving you life. So ask yourself, what are the things that are giving me life today? What is making me come alive? What is making me feel really great and curious? Because curiosity also gets dampened.
And I absolutely love your concept of soulful moxie.
And
I love that concept, that idea of balancing this soulfulness with just unapologetic boldness. And how does that duality show up in business decisions? So, like, especially when women are trying to stand out in what we all know are frequently male dominated AI heavy spaces.
yes. So when we say male dominated heavy spaces, we also say, oh, we're putting on our masculine hat on today. We lean into our masculine energy, right? We need to be driven. We need to be on our game. We need to be perfect, like all of those things. And so we believe we have to choose. We can't be both. And that's the first thing that's not true. We can be both. We can be soft and we can be a force of nature in one fell swoop. But our culture has made us believe that we can only be one way. And so the majority of us who have grown up in breaking the glass ceiling grew up with all of the masculine energy and all of that drive. And one of the things that I was always told throughout my career is pick a lane. Pick one lane. We're not one-dimensional. We're not one-dimensional. And I know I'm not. And so that force of nature, but also that softness is our ability to also marry masculine and feminine energy, the drive, the perfection, but also the intuition and the compassion and the empathy. Like when we meld those together, and this is not just for women, this is also for men. Many of them don't invoke some of their feminine energy. So it's both. But I think we've got more work to do.
And you've said that most people don't have a branding problem, they have a permission problem, right? So
Yes.
it's that idea of giving themselves permission, but can you walk us through what that means in practice? Like, how does someone start giving themselves permission to build something moving forward that's actually representative of them?
So the first thing is belief. If you don't have belief, you're not going to give yourself permission. So the first is to believe that it's possible. Believe that you're empowered to do it. Believe that you can take your agency back. Because when we take our agency, we can build it. And we don't build it from out there, we build it from in here. And honestly, that's where Soulful Moxie came from, because I am that duality. And I really wanted this nomenclature of how do I express both? Because I am both. And when we believe, we're able to step into that embodiment. right? And if we don't embody it, we don't believe it, and therefore no one else is going to believe it. And so we can have anything that we want, but the trick is to make sure that it's really an extension of you. And that's starting to know who you are, truly know who you are, not who you think you are, not who you are because culture has morphed you and you have shape-shifted into it. You know, when I even thought about my values, I'm like, are they my values or are they my parents' values that it was like a hangover? Are they really mom?
Yeah.
Things as
Just remember-
fundamental like that. Yeah. Yeah. And that's also where we're afraid to have the conversation with ourselves because we feel that if we open Pandora's box, we can't put the genie back. But guess what, ladies? You don't want to put the genie back. You want the genie to come.
Oh my gosh. And I think so many of us default to proving themselves through credentials or output, or I'm going to outthink, I'm going to outmaneuver. So, how do you help leaders move from that proving energy?
Yeah.
That I got to represent, got to be that, right? Into an actual, true, authentic presence. What's a practical exercise that we can try?
I would say this is where, again, belief, your credential don't define who you are. Your title doesn't define who you are. It defines who you are within that one microcosm. So think about the person at the cocktail party. Who do you gravitate towards? Someone who's talking about their credentials and all the things they've accomplished? Or they're just having a conversation like you and me, and they are really being their authentic self. And when you walk away from that conversation, you know who that person is. You're like, oh my God, I want to hang out with them. Oh my God, they're like someone I wish I met 10 years ago.
Sister from another mister.
Yeah, like those are like the authenticity. The authenticity creates magnetism. It really does. And that includes being vulnerable, sharing some of your deepest, darkest secrets. Now, you don't have to be sharing everything, people. But I get to know who you are. You get to know who I am just through this conversation, right? Because otherwise, if I'm talking about all of my credentials, you don't get to know me. And we're in a world, especially in this world of AI, where we want to connect with people heart to heart, right? The machines can do all of the productivity. They can help us. They can even help us soul search if we need to. But ultimately, we want this. We want this connection, messy, imperfect. And that's what we're seeking. And if you're thinking authenticity and perfection is not a superpower, think again. It so is.
Yeah. And you emphasize that it's not necessarily about climbing higher and higher. It's about creating deeper.
Yeah. The climbing higher and higher is to mask our own insecurities, our own feeling that we're not enough. So if I think about my need for perfection in my corporate career, oh my God, like that was like the masse du jour for me. But it was born out of, I didn't feel like I was enough. I was always fighting for the next thing. I was always making sure that everything was done so that I get promoted. And when we do that, we lose ourselves. We're not seen. We're really not seen.
Yeah. Because it's no longer really you.
It's not you. It's not you. You know, I had developed an austere that was, what's the word? Aloof? Because it really held back. And I think for those of us who are in spaces where we're not the best fit, we hang on tighter. And the more we hang on, the harder it is for us, the more work we have to do, and the more we're not ourselves.
And you've said that alignment outlasts any algorithm, right? So that idea of finding alignment, what's your advice for making sure that as we begin to build, we're enhancing our authentic voice rather than erasing it?
So alignment starts with, one, really knowing who you are. Knowing who you are, knowing what is an extension of you. So the work that you do, right? We get into a career because we chase the job because, but when it's an extension of us, we're in the right fit. We're with people who support us for the way we are, the way we behave, the way we think, the things that we do, the quirks that we have, right? That's alignment. You find a spouse who's supportive of your career rather than the two of you are at odds about your career, right? Being in alignment takes a lot of not only soul searching, but questioning. Questioning, is this the right fit? And so many of us, we don't want to look. We don't want to know. But the truth is, we already know. The fact that we don't want to look is because we already know. And so asking yourself, is this really serving me or am I serving it? And I think that this is also where AI can help us, because I know when I first started to think about, way back when, before AI, who am I? What do I really love? Those types of things. I couldn't answer those questions, and I felt like I was on this never-ending searching and just couldn't figure it out. But now you can go into a tool and share it with it, some of the things that you love to do, like who were you as a child? Give it all the background, and then ask it some powerful questions. Like, if you were my strategist, what really would be my next move if this work is supposed to be an extension of me? What are the types of people that I should be associated with? What types of companies would be a good extension of me? It's a great research tool to get us started. And I wish I had it.
Right? Now you can't imagine life without it. But back then you were like,
No. But I think the greatest barometer that we can use for ourselves, whatever it is, how does it make us feel?
mhm.
When I walk into that room, am I excited? Am I curious? When I have a conversation with this person, do I feel shut down? When I go out to dinner with this person, do all of a sudden I become really animated and alive? Like, start to notice how you feel, not how you think. The machines are all about thinking. They can do the thinking, but it's how we feel. And that's also part of our alignment. We talk about flow and ease, right? So when we feel that way, we know things are right. When we say trust your gut, that's why we do it, because it's how you feel. And if I had trusted my gut way before I actually did, I would have left corporate probably 15 years earlier, if I'm really honest with myself. And that's where the intuition, the feminine energy, like really listening to ourselves comes. But when we're in a situation longer than we need to be, it starts whittling away at our confidence. And we lose those inner skills, which is something that I didn't realize until I look back now and say, I wasn't listening to my intuition. Like I wasn't even giving it a place to breathe and to even tell me, because I was always running. And it's in that pause where we get to think, reflect, and feel.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I think oftentimes we've trampled it down so much, we don't even remember that we have one.
No.
It's been so silenced for so long.
Yeah.
And you've even written that your second life begins when you realize you only have one. So,
Mhm.
how does that perspective change the way women show up? What does it look like in the day to day?
So I think the first thing is it'll show up in confidence, right? When you know this is your second life, and how precious is it? You start to realize what matters, right? It's not the title. It's not the house. It's not my Milano Blahniks, as much as I loved them, right? I realized like those things, while they were my trade dress, didn't matter. How you feel inside matters. Your fulfillment matters. And what you'll start to see with people entering their second life is they're joyful. They approach life with curiosity and they feel alive. Like when people have had that awakening, there's something really special. There's like that wisdom that starts to emerge. And so I think that when you show up that way, you're going to really stand out with your voice. And as you change, around you is going to change as well. You'll get backlash. You'll decide if you want to stay or go, but you'll also realize that you have your own agency because you've made a choice to step into that next life. Yeah.
Yeah. And so many of our listeners are standing at that precipice, right? They're burned out. They're knowing something's not working, but they're waiting to take that leap. What's your message to the woman listening right now who knows it's time, but hasn't trusted her gut quite yet?
So I'm going to answer this as me back then being that woman today. No one is coming to save you. And the reason I'm saying that is, as a successful woman, you believe you can figure it out. You've got it all together. You're not waiting. When I say that, you're probably going, I'm not waiting for someone to save me. But you're waiting for the next job. You're waiting for the right moment. You're waiting for him to change. You're actually waiting for something else. You're putting your agency out there. So therefore, you are waiting for someone to save you. No one's coming to save you, sweetie. Take your agency back. Make that choice. Until I made that choice, nothing changed. Nothing can change. And that one courageous step will not break you. Because that's what we think it will. We think it'll break us. We think that how are we ever going to recover from this? Because in our minds, it's so insurmountable, but it is a monster that has been created in our minds. And so I would say, take the leap. Just make the choice. You are always at choice. We are always at choice. And we get to take our agency back.
Love it. Carolina, thank you so much for your word, for your kind spirit. If people want to connect with you and Soulful Moxie, where should they go?
I would say the easiest place is probably LinkedIn and my website, soulfulmoxie.com, one or the other. They both have links to get.
Love it. People are going to want to talk to you again.
Thank you, Michelle.
It has been my absolute pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for sharing your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to Empowered by AI. If today's episode sparked ideas, don't wait. Follow the link in the show notes to visit innovativeaistudio.com and download your free resource, created to help you put today's insights into practice. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on future episodes packed with more tips, tools, and inspiring stories. Until next time, stay empowered and keep innovating.